Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Tag Tuesday. So for this week's tag, I thought it would be really fun to do the 90s tag. And there's just a series of questions, and this was from like 2013, I believe. So just a series of questions kind of about my 90s experience and some of my favorites from the 90s. So I kind of was thinking about it. So I was born in 1985. And I was approximately like 4.5 to like 14.5 in the 90s, which in school years, it was like from when I was in preschool to 8th grade. So the 90s really covered all of my childhood, all of my elementary school days. Like I was in school the whole time, but it was before I was in high school, but I wasn't like too young, so I don't remember things. So the 90s was my childhood. So I thought this would be a really fun tag to do, and let's get into the questions. So question number 1 is, what is my favorite Disney film? And I think my favorite is The Little Mermaid. I actually have it on DVD. I love the songs in the movie. I always loved Ursula. I like her more than Ariel. I love Ursula. I don't know. I love the songs with her, and just she's my favorite Disney villain character. But I really love that movie. I believe it actually came out, I feel like it came out in '89, I want to say. And I think, unless my memory is just messed up, I think that was the first movie that I actually saw in theaters. So even though it was technically a 90s film, I watched a ton or technically an 80s film, I watched a ton during the 90s. Some other Disney films that I really loved, Aladdin, love the songs in that. I mean, A Whole New World, I mean, really. And I really loved Beauty and the Beast. We had tapes, Disney tapes of the songs, so I think the songs even are more loved for me than the actual movies, even though I really love the movies too. But those were definitely my favorites. The second question is favorite music artist. Now, 10 years of time is a lot. So I definitely have my late 90s favorite artist. But I really did love Ace of Base in the 90s. Especially, I think it was their second CD. I don't even know what it's called. Beautiful Life. I love that CD. I would play it again and again and make up dance routines to the different songs. And my favorite, absolute favorite song is Never Gonna Say I'm Sorry. I love making up dance routines to that. So that was one of my first CDs that I had, and I definitely loved that. Of course, late 90s, I love Britney Spears. I mean, that's every 90s girl loves Britney Spears. Boy bands, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I loved O-Town. I loved them on Making the Band, and then they were at the California State Fair. I feel like it was in 2000s though, so I don't know if they were actually from the 90s, but I really love them. Yeah, love the boy bands, love all the pop music, but that was more of a late 90s thing. Favorite candy. So I had a few. One was Smarties. I still like Smarties, but when I was little, I pretended those were medicine. I don't know why I wanted to pretend I was taking medicine, but I'd be taking my medicine and it's Smarties. I really love those. Oh, I really love the candy necklaces. I just like the idea that I could wear my candy. Even though I just wanted to eat my candy, but I liked wearing my candy. Oh, I really love rock candy. You know, when the candy's on the wooden stick, it's like a sucker, but it's rock candy, so you just kind of have to chew it off. I love that. I've always loved Skittles. I always like really fruity type of candies. So those were some of my favorites. Still are some of my favorites. Favorite game. So my favorite board game was definitely Life. And with Life, the game of Life, there's really no strategy. It's all luck on you spin the little spinner thing and, hope to get a 10 or whatever number you want. But it's all kind of luck of what numbers you get, even though you can make some choices along the way. But I always loved that game, and I always wanted my little car to have a bunch of kids in it, and I love seeing like what I accomplished along the way. So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites. Favorite McDonald's Happy Meal toy. Now, I used to love McDonald's. I don't know the last time I actually have had McDonald's, like recently, but definitely loved Happy Meals when I was little. And I think I want to say I was turning 3 or 4. I think I was turning 4. And what I wanted to do for my birthday is like go and eat at McDonald's. So I think I went with my mom. I had like a birthday party with like neighborhood kids, but I previously went earlier in the day with my mom for lunch to McDonald's. So I guess this didn't even happen in the 90s anyway, because I was just turning 4. Okay. But anyway, this would have been 1989. But I went to McDonald's and like got stung by a bee. But I love McDonald's. I don't know. That was like my favorite thing when I was little. But one of my favorite Happy Meals was when they were doing the Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies, there's not really a question relating to like favorite toy, but Beanie Babies, that was a craze. I remember like standing in line where they would sell different ones. There's an errand bear, and I like entered a raffle and actually won it. I was like super into Beanie Babies. But they had Beanie Baby Happy Meals, which, yeah. You have something that everyone's like crazy about, and then you put it in a Happy Meal. Of course, that's going to be a big hit. But that was actually a good one. Most of the Happy Meals are pretty plasticky and kind of lame, but the Beanie Baby ones were actually pretty good. So I definitely loved those for Happy Meal toys. Favorite book? Definitely I really love the American Girl doll books. My favorite was the Molly books. I actually have American Girl Molly. Like I saved up my money. I think I was around 7. And I saved up all my money and I was able to buy her. So that was definitely one of my favorite toys, but I really like the corresponding books. So those are definitely my favorite books. I loved reading. I loved like the ends of the books because they had some about like the history of the time. So all the different dolls were set in a different like time period, and the end of the book would have a little like history information about the time period. So I always liked history. And I liked that it was incorporating history in with like a story about like a young girl. So I really love those books. Favorite clothing store? So when I was a kid, I totally was not fashionable. I think I didn't really own jeans. I don't know if kids don't wear jeans. I don't know. But I would always wear leggings and like sweaters or like sweatshirts. That was my look. And the leggings, I'd have like full-length leggings and then little short leggings. I guess those aren't really leggings, but like little shorts. But when I got older and was cared more about like fashion, I guess, I really loved the Limited 2. I don't know. I just really liked that store. I don't know if I got a lot of clothes from there, but I always knew that I liked like going in that store and looking at stuff. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites. The next question is favorite Nick Jr. show. So I was kind of an age range during the 90s, but I definitely did watch Nick Jr. shows. Definitely in the summer. We had cable, but I felt like now there's like 10 different channels for like Nickelodeon and Disney, so you're not really as restricted. But when I was little, there was like one Nickelodeon channel, and during the day they would have Nick Jr. on. So you couldn't watch your like shows that you wanted to watch. You had to be stuck with Nick Jr. So I would still watch Nick Jr. with my brother. Let's see what ones I liked. I think I really like Gullah Gullah Island. I tend to like stuff that has like people in it, like actually like not animated as much. So that was one of my favorites, and I definitely watched Nick Jr. It's marketed to be for like preschoolers, but I was definitely older when I was watching Nick Jr. When I was younger, I really liked a lot of the PBS shows, like Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I really liked, it was called Ghost Rider. I don't know if people remember this show, but it was filmed with like actual kids, and they were like in middle school and they were filming mysteries, and this like ghost writer thing would like give them like hints or help them and like give them messages like on their computer. I really love that show. Gosh. And then as far as like other sorts of shows, so definitely Nickelodeon was my favorite channel. I really loved The Secret World of Alex Mack, all that. Loved all that. Trying to think of more. Just a lot of Nickelodeon shows. Like, there were some that my mom wouldn't let me watch, but any ones that I was allowed to watch, I loved. Or all the game show type ones, like Legends of the Hidden Temple. I really love Guts. And all the, like, Mark Summers shows where he hosted, like, Double Dare, Family Double Dare, and, like, What Would You Do? All the ones that, like, people are getting, like, pie in the face and stuff. I loved all of those shows. Some other shows I liked, TGIF, like Boy Meets World. What else do I have on TGIF? Sabrina the Teenage Witch I really loved. I always loved Full House. That is definitely one of my all-time favorite shows from the 90s. So, like, a lot of shows, just because there was such a, like, wide, or not wide, but, like, a lot of years in the 90s. So definitely a lot of TV shows I loved. The next one is What Would You Watch When You Got Home from School? I know a lot of kids have, like, shows that they had to watch when they got home from school. Even though I watched a lot of TV, I can't remember that, like, I have to watch this show when I get home from school. I feel like I watch more shows, like, more on the weekends and more during the summer. I don't remember having, like, a specific show I watched when I get home from school. I know a lot of people, like, watched Power Rangers. I don't know what it was, like, the school I went to, everyone made fun of Power Rangers. Like, nobody was allowed to like Power Rangers, and I never was interested in Power Rangers. And people love, like, Sailor Moon, and watched that when they got home from school, but I don't know, I never watched that. So, I don't really have an answer for this, but I did have, like, a lot of TV shows I watched, but I just would more do homework when I got home from school, and a lot of I felt like we watched more shows, like, with the whole family, or didn't watch as much TV, like, during the week, but I watched more shows, like, during, like, the weekends and summer, so I don't really have an answer for that. So that is all the questions. It's been very fun kind of reminiscing about the 90s. I'd love to know your answers to these questions. I'll leave the questions below. And thanks for watching. Bye.